Hello and welcome to Only Connect, the show that peers hopelessly into the terrifying infinity of ignorance and asks, will humanity ever be more than this? Glimpsing an unendingly complex universe and shying away, baffled, afraid, trembling and myopic. Let's meet the teams. On my right, Claire Turner, a technical deployment consultant who is a quarter English, a quarter Welsh and half French. Jonathan Cairns, a biostatistician who once lost £9 at a ticket barrier because he was distracted by the sight of Richard Osman walking in the opposite direction. And their captain, Tim Brown, a database administrator who appeared uncredited in an episode of Maid Marian and Her Merry Men. All data science workers, they are the data wizards. Now, Tim, in your last game, you got a very complicated maths question and a very simple one. What were those questions?
The complicated question was something to do with iterative mathematical operators. I learned that word in the last game. And the easy one was adding up to a result of 14.
And I think you actually failed to get either of those questions. Is that awkward for you as data wizards?
If you think back to our first show, I did warn you that maths might be a blind spot for us.
And yet here you are in the semi-final.
Somehow.
Very well done. Your fellow semi-finalists are, on my left, Niall Jones, an English graduate who was stung by a Canadian jellyfish. Lorna Frankel, a natural sciences student who has spent the past 4 years knitting a scarf featuring all the flags of the world. And their captain, Steve Barnes, a science teacher whose first TV appearance was as a spectator of a ferret race at a county show. All fond of a nice stroll, they are the Ramblers. Steve, if you were advising a pub landlord how to run a good quiz, what would you tell him are the key elements?
Good music round. I love a music round. We've had a lot of music questions on here so far, so we've enjoyed that very much. Making sure that there's no answers that can be argued over, though at a pub quiz I'm not sure that's possible. And making sure that everyone has a great time, keeping the pints flowing.
OK, well done you two for making the semi-final. Let's see who is going to be in the final and who will have the joy of the third-place playoffs. Data Wizards, you won the toss, but you decided to put your opponents in first. So, Ramblers, please choose a hieroglyph.
Could we have the 2 reads, please?
Yes, you could. This will be the first question of the semi-final. What is the connection between these clues? Here's the first.
Right, do you know who that is?
No.
OK, next clue, please.
Priscilla Cooper Tyler.
Do you know who that is?
Is this to do with Elvis? I don't know, Priscilla Presley.
I think we should.
I'll take another one. Yeah.
Next clue, please.
Rose Elizabeth Cleveland. That doesn't ring any bells.
No.
We've got to get the next one. Give us some time.
OK, next clue, please. Martha Jefferson Randolph.
Is this Thomas Jefferson? I don't know.
The ones related to...
His
What, his
family?
Do you think?
I don't know, it's a guess. I'm not sure.
Do you think it's George Washington?
Or do you want me to go
I'd just go for one of them. I think, yeah.
These, what are you going for?
So people who are related to Thomas Jefferson?
They are not all people who are related to Thomas Jefferson. Data Wizards, you've got the chance for bonus point.
Related to George Washington?
That's not it either. The person at clue 4 is the daughter of Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, okay.
And she, like the people in the other clues, was First Lady. They are examples of people who were First Ladies but were not married to the President.
Ah.
So Harriet Rebecca Lane was the niece of James Buchanan. He never married. Priscilla Cooper Tyler, I know you're all muttering about Elvis, but no, it's to do with John Tyler. She was his daughter-in-law and she took on the role after the illness and death of Tyler's wife. Rose Elizabeth Cleveland, the sister of Grover Cleveland. And then later on he married Frances Cleveland, later the First Lady, and Martha Jefferson Randolph, daughter of Thomas Jefferson, because his wife Martha died, and he never married again, although he did have several children with Sally Hemings, who was a slave of his. The thing I don't understand about Thomas Jefferson, they refer to him as a benevolent slave owner, which I think, but is owning a person not a sort of absolute evil, a sort of original sin, as it were?
Yeah, you'd think.
And he had these children with Sally Hemings, and even though they were his own children, she had to negotiate freedom for them. And he freed them, and he didn't free any of his other slave families, even though he had hundreds and hundreds of slaves. Data Wizards, what would you like?
Twisted Flax, please.
Twisted Flax. What is the connection between these clues? Here's the first.
German for the library.
Yeah, it's German for
Could it
library.
be Cluedo?
It might be. Yeah. Next, please.
I don't know what Visser is.
Better knowing better?
Better.
Better is better. Yeah, Visser is better.
Next, please.
Could these be...
Are these houses of government in Germany?
Do we get another? I can get another.
Yeah, next, please.
Who's called?
I...
Chase, the German chase? Or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Are they
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
German, the Chase characters?
Yes, they are. They are chasers on the German edition of The Chase. Just remind me what their names would be in English.
One is the librarian.
Die Bibliotheker is the librarian.
There's the governor, or the governess.
Die Gouvernante, she's no longer on the German show, although, of course, there is a governess on the English version.
The second one is the know-it-all, presumably.
Know-it-all, yes, the person that always knows better. And der Quizgott, the quiz god Sebastian Jacobi on the German Chase. Well done. Ramblers, what would you like?
Could we have the water, please?
Yes, you could. What do these picture clues have in common? Here's the first.
OK, that's Ralph Schumacher.
Okay.
Next, please.
What's that?
That's a Sigma, lowercase Sigma.
Sigma.
What's Ralph wants to do, Sigma?
Is that a clothing brand, Sigma? Or I don't know.
Go for another. Next, please. Who's that?
Looks like an aardvark.
It is, but
Yeah,
I
I
can't
don't
remember
recognise
the name.
him.
Final one, then?
Yes.
Next clue,
Yes.
please. Who's that?
Is it Liam Neeson in
Oh, is that
Schindler's List?
Oh, yeah, they're,
Oh, it's in a different mix.
What's that?
Name's a different alphabet, isn't
are
it?
they?
No.
No.
Do you not think?
Well, maybe.
Well, go for it anyway. Doesn't matter.
No, NATO phonetic alphabet.
For once in this godforsaken quiz, it is not letters in the NATO alphabet. Do you want to have a go for a bonus point?
These are manufacturers of lifts and escalators.
Yes, they are. The thing that's surely most often said in a lift. Ooh, Schindler's Lift, because it says Schindler on the sign. That's Robert Schindler, not a relation of Oscar Schindler, depicted here by Liam Neeson. What are the other clues?
We've got Otis the Aardvark.
Exactly so.
That's a Sigma.
Lowercase Sigma.
Lowercase Sigma.
Sigma is a
And
lift
that's
company,
Ralph
Korean
Schumacher,
lift
I
company.
think.
And the first one?
Ralph Schumacher.
Schumacher is an American elevator company. Well done. Good lift knowledge. What would you like for your own question?
What do you reckon?
Horned Viper.
Horned Viper, please.
OK. What is the connection between these clues? Here's the first.
The statue of Colonel Sanders in the river. I mean, that's an interesting protest thing that happened.
Has it happened recently?
Yeah. Next, please.
So did someone specific do them? Did it happen in a book?
Should be.
Get
Next,
one.
please. They were the start of a curse.
Oh.
Well, that one definitely was the start of a curse, but I might get another one just in case. Next, please.
What?
I think these are...
You'd have to buzz them.
Yeah. Are these things which are supposed to have started off a curse
In
baseball?
baseball, they are baseball curses. Absolutely right. Well done. What can you tell me about any of these clues?
I know number 3 is the Boston Red Sox traded him to the New York Yankees and then didn't win a World Series for a good 80 years after that.
From 1918 to 2004,
Yeah.
they didn't win the World Series.
Colonel Sanders, that might be a Kentucky thing.
Weirdly, the curse of the Colonel is actually a Japanese thing. It's the Hanshin Tigers of Japan. That it was after a match that a statue of Colonel Sanders was desecrated and thrown in a river, and they went on an 18-year losing streak. One doesn't think of the Japanese as being particularly rowdy sports fans. If you think of that nation, I tell you what, a lot of them just difficult, fighty sports fans. But in that case, it triggered a curse, or so they believe. And the 1919 World Series, what was that about?
Well, I assume that somebody rigged the 1919 World Series.
Very much so.
Yeah,
Yes, you don't know about that. It's inspired quite. There's a lot of literature and books and films about that. Yes, it was a big sort of mafia thing. The Chicago White Sox, after that, were victims, it was thought, of the curse of the Black Sox, and they didn't win from 1919 to 2005. The last one, the goat one, that was the Chicago Cubs. There was a goat that was evicted from the stadium, and then they lost for ages, and people thought they'd been mean to the goat. Well done. Ramblers, what would you like?
We go for the Eye of Horus, please.
Eye of Horus. It's the music question. What do the clues have in common? Here's the first.
It's
Next clue, please. That's by, is it Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark? That's by?
Oh, it might be. I'm not sure.
I don't know what it is. Magical Made for Ears. Next clue, please. Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is?
Not immediately, no.
Right, okay. Next clue, please. That's Le Marseillaise.
So, places in France.
Places in France, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So they're all named for places in France.
Yes, they are. What did we hear?
So I think the last one was Le Marseillaise, the French national anthem. I think the second one might be called Maid of Orleans.
Exactly
by
so,
Orchestral
yes.
Manoeuvres in the Dark.
The Arlesienne or Arlesienne, the first clue is Bizet, after the city of Arles. And the third one, have a guess.
Paris.
Paris, it's Parisian Walkways, a hit for Gary Moore in 1979. Do you know the lyrics of the Marseillaise?
No.
Quite violent, I think.
Arise, children of the fatherland, our day of glory has arrived. Against us the bloody flag of tyranny is raised, the bloody flag is raised. They're coming to cut the throats of your sons. I'm skipping bits just to get to my favourite bit. Let's march, that their impure blood should water our fields. And that's a lovely thing, isn't it, to be thinking of, you know, at a sports match, something like that, that those lovely words should ring in the ears of our neighbours, the French. One question remains, the lion question, that's for you. What is the connection between these clues? Here's the first.
It's a song by Pink.
It is sung by Pink.
Should we get another one?
Get another one, please.
Next, please.
I don't know this one. It's a title case, so it looks like it's titles of something.
It could be. Next, please. That's the name of a nebula.
It is.
Yeah. Should we get another one just in case? Next, please. Yeah, I think there's sort of
It's definitely
titles for
a
space
nebula and
things.
not
Yeah.
to do with
Oh, it's
planets or
famous. I know
anything.
it is. These are the titles of famous astronomy photographs.
Yes, I'll take that. Photographs taken...
From off Earth.
Exactly so, or from space, some might say. Photographs taken backwards from space. Can you describe any of the pictures?
The family portrait, I think, is Voyager taking a photo of
Voyager,
all the
and there's
inner
various planets there, yeah.
The Pillars of Creation, I think, was Hubble taking a picture of a nebula.
Interstellar dust pillars.
Yeah.
And the second one, also Hubble in 2010,
Okay.
Mystic Mountain, from about 7,500 light years away from Earth. The blue marble, do you know
I
what that
think that's one of the Apollo ones, taking a picture of the Earth.
It's a picture of Earth, exactly so, looking like a blue marble from far away, from 1972. Well done. That means at the end of round one, the Ramblers have 1 point, the Data Wizards have 4. Round two, sequences round. Ramblers, you'll be going first again. Where would you like to start?
Could we have the Twisted Flax, please?
OK, take a little ramble through the Twisted Flax. They're going to be picture clues. I want to know what sort of thing you'd expect to see in the fourth picture. Here's the first.
OK. Should we
I'm just going to go straight from this.
next clue, please.
That's...
OK.
It's 5.
I don't know what the... right, shall I go next?
Yeah.
Next clue, please. 4, so it's going to be 3. But how
Is it
many?
like dice?
Are they on their side?
Maybe just like 3 in a diagonal, but I don't know why.
Well, you've taken the middle one out between 2 and 3, haven't you? But that's not the case with the...
Those have stayed in the same place. That's
Oh, no,
me.
because you swear, no, it doesn't quite work.
No, I don't know. What should I go for?
Just do 3 in a diagonal from the bottom.
From bottom left to top right, OK. A square with 3 circles in it going from the bottom left to the top right-hand corner.
That is not what we would see, I'm afraid. Data Wizards, would you like to have a go?
Yeah, a square with a line of 3 dots in the centre going from the top to the bottom.
That is what it would be, a vertical line of black dots. And why?
They're the inverse of dice faces.
That is what it is. I think you knew it was dice and you could see that dots were removed. What you have to imagine, there's a potential 9 dots on the face of a die. And if you make the white spaces dots and the dots blank, we will see the numbers 3, 4 and 5. So we want a 6, but with white where the dots would be and dots where the white would be. So another bonus point there for you, Data Wizards. And what would you like?
Jonathan.
Oh, I would like the Eye of Horus, please.
OK, the Eye of Horus. What would come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
7:20 a.m. I mean, that's a clock
Because I
thing,
think
which
when
is...
they're on a clock.
Get another
Just
one.
get
let's
the
see.
next.
Next, please.
Why is it always by
It could be a. What is that in 24?
Get another.
Next, please.
20.
22,
So 720, 20, 23.
No, I think that's.
Is this the Doomsday Clock? 10 to midnight?
Could be.
Yeah, which is 3
Wasn't it
minutes.
100. It's 100 minutes to midnight, then it's 10 minutes to midnight, so it's 1 minute to midnight, so it's 11.
11:59 p.m.
Exactly right. Well done.
Well done.
What's happening here?
It's the number of minutes to midnight, and it's going 1,000 to midnight, 100 to midnight, 10 to midnight, 1 to midnight.
Exactly. So it is minutes towards midnight, decreasing by a power of 10 each time. So we wanted 1 minute to midnight. Well done. Ramblers, what would you like?
Let's go for the Horned Viper, please.
OK, what would come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
A something, L something.
Two words, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, next, please.
E, Reticus, something. A, E.
Can you see it? Next, please. Right, JK.
Yeah.
So it's this next sequence, isn't it? So,
Okay, LMN, isn't it?
so
It's gonna be O.
No.
O, and it's going to be
PQ.
OM, OPQ.
Yeah.
So like something with OPQ
So
missing.
like T blank blank.
Pop
blank.
quiz.
Yeah.
So P blank 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 whiz. Yeah?
You write that.
Yeah. So letter O, colon, P blank 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 UIZ.
A perfect answer. Very well done. And what's happening here?
So the letter at the top is the first in a sequence of letters such as A, B, C, now E, D, F.
G.
Yeah. No, E, F, G, sorry. I, J, K. And they can fill the gap to make a new word or a new phrase.
Exactly so. Missing from each of the words is a sequence of consecutive letters beginning with a vowel, and we're going forward through the vowels. So L, A, B, C, O, A, T to make lab coat. What's that second clue?
Retiefgusen?
You say that like you've never heard of Retiefgusen, the well-known South African golfer. But yes. And then we've got the Rijksmuseum, our IJK's museum. And you gave me the example, pop quiz at the end, P-O-P-Q, whiz. Well done. Back to you, data wizards, for a choice.
Lion, please.
Lion, what would come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
Come forward.
Pie, brag.
Mindy Bump.
It's a river.
Next, please.
I mean, it's Charlotte's Web, but Humble's. I don't know if radiant was in it.
Could it be a word one? Get another.
Some
Next, please.
could be.
It might be a small thing.
I don't think. Did Charlotte's Web have radiant and
I don't know.
terrific?
I don't know
If they
what it is.
did, then the last one would be some. Would it be some pig? Might be some pig. But
Right,
I don't know
I'll do
if
that.
that could be anything else. We've still got a bit.
Well, that's all we've got. I'm going to put it to you.
All right. Go for it.
Claire?
Is it some pig?
Yes, it is. Very well done. What's happening here?
It's Charlotte's Web. Charlotte writes these words in her web.
Exactly so. Many weeks ago in this series, we had a group of pigs on the wall, and one of them was Wilbur, and I don't think any of the teams had heard of him. But, of course, Wilbur, humble, radiant, terrific, and initially some pig is the pig described by the words in Charlotte's Web. Very well done. Ramblers, what would you like?
Can we go for the water, please?
Yes, you could. What would come forth in the water question? Here's the first.
Okay,
So I think it might be in two people.
Okay, might
I'm not
be
sure.
Should we go next? Next, please. That was one by
That
two
was a
people,
tie.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it's Margaret Atwood and Bernie Neveristo.
Or do you think the
do you
first
want
one
a
was
year
three
and then
people,
one
so no
anything?
one wants it? So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
imagine- Oh, but that didn't happen.
What was the
It
Nobel
was
Prize
17.
when was it 2020 whether it wasn't awarded for literature?
Oh,
I don't know what year.
one of the
That's
years
really
recent
annoying.
years was.
Well, I mean, the 70 Booker.
1970 book.
Yeah.
Should I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah? So we
Okay.
can explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The 1970 Booker Prize.
And why would that be?
So it wasn't awarded that year, so nobody won it.
Well done. Well gambled off just two clues. The 2011 Nobel Peace Prize was shared between 3 people. The 2019 Booker Prize by 2 people. And we had at clue 3, the Lib Dem Leadership Contest 2020. That had 1 winner. So anything with no winners, for example, the Tour de France, which, there were no winners between the years 1999 and 2005. Why not?
Because Lance Armstrong
yeah.
was disqualified for certain reasons.
That's right. Lance Armstrong was the winner, but that was taken away. Another acceptable answer. the parsnips class in the vegetable competition at the 2017 Exford Village Show, which actually is a show that one of our question editors, Mr. Whaley Cohen, attended. And he told me there was one entrant in the parsnips class, Rebecca Snedden, the only entrant, but the judges wrote on the exhibit, "Sorry, third only, these parsnips are even smaller than the white radishes in Class 8. What I like best about that is the glimpse of what the question editors get up to in their spare time. Back to you, data wizards, for the last question of round 2 reads, what would come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
Niger.
River.
River, country. Could be a word.
So it's going to be first.
Next, please.
I think.
Is it?
Increasing in size, maybe?
Is it
They're
alphabetical?
quite big.
No, the alphabetical, aren't they? So,
Just get another.
Next, please.
Mongolia.
Is it the?
Number of people in the tribe. Like,
Could it be the location of the biggest deserts?
Could be the number of countries that border it.
I don't know. Actually, nothing.
Oh, yeah.
First, Laos.
Not it, I'm afraid. Ramblers, do you want to have a go?
First, Kazakhstan.
Yes, it is Kazakhstan. And why?
Are these the countries that have the longest borders that don't have a coastline?
Basically, yes. They're the
Biggest-
largest landlocked countries in the world. So if you take out countries with a coastline from the largest countries, you would get these countries going up towards Kazakhstan, which is the largest landlocked country in the world. Well done. That means at the end of round 2, the Ramblers have 7 points, the Data Wizards have 9. Time for a connecting wall. And Data Wizards, you've got the pleasure of going first this time. Please choose lion or water.
Lion wall, please.
OK, 2.5 minutes to solve the lion wall, starting now.
What we've got Dragon Ball Z. Is there anything else which is Z?
things you wear in the swimming pool.
Okay, so
Trunks,
let me have a bash at
bikinis.
some of these.
Yeah. Rashi is something.
Rations. Okay.
Mint julep.
Yeah, mint.
Singapore sling. So it's
Okay,
like
so types of cocktail.
Yeah.
punch and a sour.
What's
So
Golgo
live.
13? Or Bleach is an anime.
Well, there are
There's anime, yeah.
series.
Dragon Ball, Bleach, Naruto. Bleach.
Right, you keep. So we've got flip, sour, punch, mix, sling, and julep could all be cocktails. So
That's
is
what
there,
three
is there a
in
word
line.
thing we've got here? Change a letter to get a number.
Oh, yes. 3, 5.
4. So sour is 4.
6 is
4,
mixed.
6.
It's mixed.
And the
Shall I?
others are?
Yeah.
Live for 5.
Yeah. The others are.
Easily done. Well done. You solved the wall. What about the connections? Tell me about the first group. Trunks, bikini and so on.
Things that you wear when swimming.
Exactly so. And the next group, Dragon Ball and so on.
Think those are anime TV series.
They are. They're Japanese manga. They've all been produced as anime, so either answer would be correct. And the next group, Shri, Live and so on.
If you change one letter, you get a number.
You get 3, 5, 4 and 6. Well done. Good spot. And the last group, Punch, Sling, Flip, Julep.
All types of cocktails.
Delicious. Very well done. So you get 4 points for the groups, 4 for the connections and the bonus of 2, maximum of 10 points. Well done. Let's bring in their opponents now, give them the water wall and see how they get on. Ramblers, you've got 2.5 minutes to solve your wall, starting now.
Right, OK.
Real is a currency.
Okay, Hogs had...
Yen is a currency.
Yeah.
Oh, dram is a currency.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so dram. What else? Yen.
Is it gil?
Real
Real
sounds like
is.
one is. OK,
Oh,
so...
lateral line is a thing on a fish.
OK,
Fins are on
fish.
fish.
Gil is
Scales, fin,
OK, something else is on a fish.
maybe
Photophores.
photophores. I don't think lateral line's going to be anything else, so...
OK,
Photophore
Try it
gill.
would be
without
There we
gills.
go.
Cool,
Fish.
OK. So, what's...
Is a hogshead to do with like?
Yeah, it might be a measure of
barrel?
alcohol,
Yeah,
like drum and barrel.
hogshead, Dram,
Pottle?
maybe, or 11.
11, yeah.
Oh, we might want to come back to that.
11 is a number with a
Oh, it
letter
is.
missing off
Is
the
there
front. I
anything
don't think
else?
any of the others are. Although it's 7, that could be 8,
Oh, 10. Yen
10, and any others. It would be horrible if there weren't, wouldn't it?
Or wine 9.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Right, there we go.
OK, so what are we left with? We're left with money.
Currency.
Money,
And alcohol.
alcohol,
So what's money
God,
for sure?
that's nice.
One is
real.
real. Tenga?
Yeah, it could be like
Dram
Dram is
definitely is.
Armenian, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or something. Tenga maybe?
Try
Yeah.
Tenga.
You've solved the wall. Very well done. Excellent stuff. What about the connections? Tell me about the first group starting photophores.
So these are all things you can find on fish.
That's right, and photophores are organs used to produce light. And the next group, wine, fight, and so on.
So these are all numbers that have had the first letter changed to something else.
Yes, they have. 9, 8, 7, 10. And the next group, starting 1.
So these are all world currencies of different countries.
I'll take that. They're Asian currencies, so not fully global, but that's right. And the next group, starting hogshead.
So these are measures of alcohol.
I like your style. I mean, actually, measures of any volume, but alcohol comes into your mind. I like that. I particularly liked you saying, we're left with money and alcohol. For me, those are usually the first things to go. But I will certainly take measurements of alcohol for that connection. So that is the maximum of 10 points. Let's have a look at the scores as we go into the final round. The Ramblers have 17 points, the Data Wizards have 19. So it's a lot closer than our last semi-final. Could be an exciting round 4. Fingers on buzzers, teams. I can tell you the first group of disguised clues are all recipes on the BBC Food website. Ramblers.
Mary Berry's scones.
Delicious. Ramblers.
Nigel Slater's Toad in the Hole.
Yum. Data Wizards.
Tom Kerridge's lamb bhuna.
Yes, it is. Data Wizards.
Ken Hom's beef stir fry.
Congratulations. Next category, they are often mistaken for one another. Data Wizards.
Tax evasion and tax avoidance.
Indeed so. Ramblers.
Shepherd's pie and cottage pie.
Don't mind if I do. Data Wizards.
Gargoyles and grotesques.
Don't mind if I do. Ramblers.
Craig and Charlie Reid.
Our old favourites. Next category, 9-letter words consisting of 3 3-letter words. Data Wizards.
Petticoat.
Or pet-tick-oat. Correct. Next clue. Ramblers.
Cobweb.
Cobweb bed. I, for one, am grateful that there are no more clues, for the bell has gone. It's the end of the quiz, and looking at the final scores, the winners and through to the final with 24 points are the Data Wizards. Very well done. Ramblers, even better news for you. You finish on 22, which means you've secured that all-important place in the third-place playoffs. Very, very well done. That'll be next week, so join me for my favourite match of the series. But don't forget, every episode of Only Connect is now available in the form of a 3D printed model, which is heavy enough to throw through a shop window if you happen to find yourself in the middle of a food riot. Good night.